You know, even though I could just, like, wait and build up my Don Quixote shards or my Faust shards, there's this weird woman's voice that's telling me to gamble. That's crazy how that works. Hey everybody, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we finished off the regular checkup, and this time we'll be continuing on our way towards the next big story stuff with Nocturnal Sweeping. Happy New Year! Dante, any idea what that leftover cake from yesterday went? No idea. I mean, why would I know? I can't even eat. Darn, did Donkey already get her paws on him? Rhodia rubbed her tired eyes, muttered something about how we should have partied in her room instead, and stumbled to the back door. The New Year's came swiftly to the inhabitants of the bus after the various incidents at the LCE. Visitors all came from different backgrounds and parts of the city, but annual celebration for New Year seemed to be a thread that connected their cultures together. They began floating the idea of a New Year's party, and... Excellent! Then permit me the honor of hosting this banquet! With her usual overdramatic boast, coupled with a familiar twinkle in her eyes, Don Quixote declared that there would be indeed a New Year's party. And thus it was decided. Again, after all the hell we went through with the back door and whatnot for the out-of-season Christmas celebration... Yet I must insist, for 'twas but an effort to decorate the bus, the intent quite divorced from the act of celebration. Don Quixote glanced at Sinclair, sheepishly scratching the back of her head. Oh, don't worry about me, really. Well, 'tis just true that my actions hath brought thee quite the distress, unintentionally I might add, and thus I ask thee, wouldst thou not agree that a communal event to mark the occasion might freshen both our spirits and bodies? I can't even begin to imagine her amnesiac self even taking a moment to give a damn about how Sinclair might take it, but I guess with memory came tact. You know, it's our first New Year's together. Sure is an occasion for celebration, huh? Gotta hear that bell go ding to really mark the transition to a new year, right? Seems we shall be welcoming the first light of a new year in the company of one another. This indeed is a cause for celebration. A bowl of noodles before the last night of the year fades. Classic. Sorry, just trying to fix up my mic. Such bubbling enthusiasm from you warmeth mine own heart. Forsooth, the grandiosity of this banquet shall be one for the books. Fireworks most brilliant, enough delicacies. Come on, when's our next stop? Mac will be running non-stop for 3 days at least. Only dum-dum stop on a fast road. So she says. Miguel smarted with his usual sardonic edge and one fist under his chin. Fine. For next year's celebration, the banquet shall be prepared at the promised hour. Don Quixote's idea of a grand banquet depressingly fizzled into nothingness, but Rhodia brought out the cakes and cookies she'd stashed in her room so we could at least hold a small celebration for the New Year's together. After that, we all stayed up together, watched the New Year's first sunrise briefly paint the city in gold, and retired to sleep. When everyone woke up, rubbing their tired eyes, the world outside the bus had completely transformed. There was a behemoth of a structure, bizarre in its presence, and its walls seemingly made of gargantuan steel plates. A drop. The sinners began to voice their surprise, appropriately so, as to what came to view was different from any of the nests we'd passed by on our journey thus far. Is that massive structure all one building? That old thing's a nest, and what the bloody hell's the back streets? It's big enough to cover H upstairs and then some. Well, there he goes again, asking dumb questions without even taking a peep at the guidebook. It's not the nest. Huge box, you see there? It's District 8. We call it Hong Yuan. Vast garden here at H Corp. And this lies within the center of the structure in the back streets without. Oh, so they squeeze the entire population of this district in there? Just get a ray of sunlight all year round? At least I won't have to worry about rain. I'll put the ammonia a sec as well. As students began to gather by one side of the bus, one by one at the other side of the bus, stirred awake from their late night's rest, I felt my gaze drawing toward Hong Lu. With signs of concern and distress on his face, worried. It wasn't exactly something unique to Hong Lu, but the stories about his past home life we've heard throughout the year, where we felt like sharing them, well, consistently and terribly depressing. Yeah, it's not such a bad place when we actually try living there for a while. But his lips ever so slightly curled upward into a kindly and relaxed smile, making the same expression as ever. An expression that hasn't changed at all since our first meeting. Maybe it's just a cultural difference, kind of like how Hong Lu could be so nonchalant about things that should give most people pause, but... Actually, no, I'm not helping anyone or anything by entertaining these thoughts. My job at this moment is to keep a close eye on Hong Lu, more so than usual. And if time comes for me to help him, as the manager, I'll give it my all. Besides, this thing's even bigger up close. In fact, I carry no recollection of the structure so grand, even in past adventures of mine. If my friends aren't enough, I know I can trust the sinners to lend me a hand. Let me see too. I collected my thoughts and approached the sinners, who were flattened up against the glass window to get a good view. Wow, my days are numbered. I don't really know if the numbered days was something prior to this canto, but I know they sure were a thing afterwards. That's my only... Okay, I do have Haisho Greg. I just have to check through what ones I'll have. I have Haisho Sinclair that I can eventually use. But I think that's it. Oh, you have Yisong as well. Fuck it, why not? That should be fine. Yeah, that'll work. 38, alright, because of those 2, 3 and back. We should be fine. Even with our 1 non-Haisho. Once we left the bus, I can't believe we had to get off the bus here. Make a farmer complain when it's H Corp for this crap. What the hell were they thinking, doing shoddy construction work at the entrance of the highway that leads straight to the nest? Many causes there to be may be to such construction projects. Perhaps an early warning sign our approach to the site would be a sensible Words enough for our young carrots was valiant drifting! I shan't even imagine the terrible possibilities. Should have been a most awful end to an adventure. And it's no surprise that the sinners all had a piece of their mind to speak. As we drove up to the entryway, we unexpectedly came across a mess of badly put together steel plates blocking our path in the middle of the road. Carrots quickly spun the bus around, which meant that everyone ended up being thrown about like ragdolls. I think there was another road off the highway that leads into the city, right? I bet Carolyn would try to reverse gear all the way back to the last interchange. But looks like we'll be going through all these winding alleyways to get to the nest. It's so dark in here. We were greeted by a dark street upon disembarking from the bus, illuminated only by faint strands of light. It was immediately obvious that we found ourselves in the back streets of H Corp. Much pretty impressive from the outside, but it's no different from the other back streets inside, huh? Yeah, it's a familiar sight. Gotta say it's getting real old. Oh yes, these, the nest of a district, shrouded in such darkness as well. No, these particular sites are limited to the back streets of District 8. The back streets of this district weren't very different from the other ones we visited in the past. People hurrying through the streets as though they were being chased by something. People scowling and glaring at the ground with some sickness or discomfort. Scenes all too common in every corner of the city. There's one thing about this place that's different from the other districts, however. It kind of reminded me of the former G-Corp soldiers back in District 4. What do you mean, those fellas? The growths on their flesh appeared to organic to be prosthetics. Some of them had odd protrusions or nodules bulging from their skin as well. Not at all, Manager Bud. Look, they haven't all mutated in the same pattern, like into an insectoid form, for example. I guess I should commend you for not looking at them through the bias lens. You are observing the aftermath of District 8's distinctive method of treatment. Oh, so that's where the rumors about those bluish healing ointment came from, huh? Apparently can cure any flesh wound after just one night dressed in bandages? It seems certain my conceptions must be addressed. They were the variations of H-Corp's singularity, the bolus. The bolus? She was like referring to medicine spirit indeed into ball-shaped pills. Correct. H-Corp, or the Hongyuan Bioengineering Group, mainly manufactures boluses that contain essence of treatment. The boluses may be taken orally, ground with water into a paste and applied directly to the affected area, or dissolved in water, soaked into bandages, and wrapped around the necessary area for treatment. Guess rumors transforms the travel. I was just thinking about how they do things back at the K-Corp. The focus of K-Corp's technology is the reversal or recovery of one's condition. Returning to the original state is the key word in their treatment. It is never a sight to find unique techniques and technologies developed independently by the inhabitants of the backstreets of District 8 using manufactured boluses. The treatments are not individually customized for each patient. Instead, the focus is on selecting the appropriate technique for a myriad of choices to address the deficiencies of their statuses. Perhaps one could choose the word transformation or evolution as a more illustrative descriptor for their method of treatment. So that's what the Countess treated? The crowds in Clara's pony clearly appeared unhurt, as none of them were bleeding or walking with a limp, but many of them appeared dazed, staring blankly at nothing or scratching absent-mindedly at their mutated parts. They must be the regulars. Unexpectedly, we found our answer not from Faust, not from Rousseau, but from Honglu. The regulars. Yeah, I've heard of them as a child. People have grown too accustomed to visiting the clinics in search of the mystical treatments. The regulars might appear more intimidating than most people at first glance. Everybody, all the side effects they've been stacking changes them in strange ways. It's highly likely that the interoperational conflicts or issues will arise when applying highly disparate treatment methods to a single body. Yeah, this is a cheaper alternative for people who didn't sign up for the life insurance. You speak of life insurance. Yeah, life insurance. This is a special insurance option to bring the client back to life upon the event of their death. I mean, it isn't lost on me, but I thought resurrecting people was one of the head's taboos. The head does not consider the revival via life insurance to be a violation of their non-resurrection taboo. It's likely that on a technical level, this revival is actually categorized as brain resuscitation as opposed to full resurrection, degradation of its functions considered, of course. Another fatal downside to this technology is that, unlike the manager's clock winding, the subject cannot be brought back if their brain is destroyed. Also, there is a risk of significant losses in the process of information transference. Losses, huh? Maybe some of the mutations could be more than just side effects of these treatments. Maybe. But I heard it takes more than 1 or 2 revivals to change that much. And since apparently people in the backstreets could never even dream of paying consistent insurance renewal rates, so after all, who would sign up for insurance if using service to reduce in such pitiful states? Yeah, they appear rather pathetically pitiful to you rich bastards, don't they? You'll soon be in the same boat as them, so save some pity for yourself! Identify yourself! Stranger's voice cut through our discussion like a foreign instrument. Turn around and find a large group of people who are clearly up to no good. You must be the young master of that high and mighty Jia family, eh? I can tell just by looking at your pretty face. Your friends, Honglu? No. I haven't had much chance to get acquainted with people from the back streets, so nope. Never met them before. Of course you haven't. Too busy living large, playing gods in a whole different world from us plebs, huh? Not that it matters. We're just here to take the thing you brought here for the submission to the family hierarchy evaluation. What evaluation? Okay, there's clearly been a misunderstanding. So a lot of them. Not so great start here, huh, man? Actually, no! The evaluation of officers' core values to jump them like we're some common thugs. I, Shan-san, third son of the Triax office, challenge Baoyu to the Jia family to a duel. Our wager would be that the winner can take anything they want from the loser. What do you mean a duel? Duel? I have heard tell the duels of the honorable officers of the Singers of Shishisa branch announced their attempt to duel by setting their affiliation and name, instead casting their gauntlets, and the pamphlet that young Ishmael had presented before me earlier presented that the Triarch office is the dean office of the East, though they are indeed of a lesser quality. Tis a true, genuine, accurate declaration of a duel that we behold. Just a fancy way of saying 1v1, let's go on it. This guy doesn't look too tough. What do you think, Faust? Agreed. This individual does not seem to pose any particularly exceptional skill that may pose difficulty for Hong Liu. I think it's being okay. I'll be back in a minute, Dante. You sure it's okay? I don't think you're gonna lose against it, but, you know, just in case. No worries. I have some childhood experience with duels myself. I've done about 10 of them, I think. Ha! So the rich boy's dabbled in some duels, has he? I think you misunderstand. I'm just saying about 10 of them a day. My grandmother sometimes let me skip them, so I might have been slightly fielding out some days. What? I, Hong Liu of Limbus Company. Nah. I, Baoyu of the Jia family, accept this deal. Hong Liu stepped forward confidently as the opponent was processing what he just heard. For a moment, Hong Liu stood there in a stance that did not express even the hint of aggression, before curiously cocking his head to the side. Sorry, were you waiting for something? Oh, so I always let the opponent get the first 2 moves in a duel. Please don't hesitate. Let me, you little! Your cookie pride shall be a downfall! The man who introduced himself as Shan-san leapt toward Hong Liu, then after about a minute... How is this happening? Unlike Shan-san, who was throwing punches and swings with boiling hot passion, Hong Liu was effortlessly gliding between his opponent's strikes like he was out on a picnic. As though it was leisurely stroll through a garden. Whenever Shan-san threw a powerful punch, Hong Liu redirected to the side with ease, the fist only grazing his clothes. We were mesmerized by the feathery-like movements of his hand and feet that were effortlessly gliding through the air, until after one blinking missed moment, we realized that Shan-san was already face down on the ground, defeated. Oh, young Hong Liu, hast thou been concealing thy full strength in our presence? Ah, no, I wouldn't say that. I always put my arms to every fight. Yet, to defeat this foe so soundly, to damn such grace between strikes! 'Twas as though thou were dueling someone whose skill may only measure against a child's. But most of our fights happen in environments with lots of variables. If you fight against enemies with all kind of unexpected weapons and powers. You read him. Are you familiar with that fool's moves? Yeah, I'm gonna be able to instruct you to use similar techniques as this gentleman here. Practice makes perfect, and perfection makes an expert, right? Right, but I'm not sure that's entirely relevant here. Anyway, let's mean suddenly kicked you a year behind in this duel. Let's do it, don't you? And preferably now do the thing I think you're about to do. This duel wasn't overseen by a notary office anyway. The employer's not gonna let this failure slide and just leave. Don't just sit there, move your asses and jump them! Pathetic. I can kind of see where we're becoming experts on how to get and jump. The bitter cry of the defeated, this gang rushed toward us. There's a couple characters that I was kind of struggled to get the voice, but I think giving the little southern drawl to Hong Liu really works out. Yeah, you're gonna get high showed. And not even by Otis, who is right now high showing this guy, but rather by Faust. It is kind of a shame in terms of really utilizing high show that I did kind of miss out, but at the same time, I think we're only at 6 right now, right? Yeah. We'll be up to 7 when we get to the actual canto itself, and we have enough to fulfill that, I'm pretty sure, because we have Sinclair, we have Greg, and we have Yi Song to add. We'll be removing Rousseau from that, so it works out. Oh! And on the note of the missing high show, or the high show that we have but haven't put in, I'm going to actually uptie 3 them off screen. A lot of the uptie stuff for this chapter are spoilery, so this really isn't a great start for us. It's never easy, is it? Yeah, she got a nice warm-up. Wasn't all that bad. I don't know, it seems more serious than our usual street brawls. Ishmael's right. They weren't your everyday thugs who pick fights with random people for no good reason. They were contracted by someone to specifically target and eliminate Hong Lu. And given how open they were about their intent, calling it a contract, it doesn't seem like whoever gave that contract was exactly going for subtlety. And maybe this is what Jiashi Chun was talking about when she mentioned surviving his heirs? One of them must have a bone to pick with Hong Lu. Indeed. Seems we must expect more skirmishes like this going forward. Alas, was the shot much readily overcome? Not to the point. Think on a little more. Seems they're assuming that Hong Lu's brought something here in order to participate in that friendly hierarchy evaluation. There's no reason to assume we've seen the last of them. They're going to try again to take out the competition. A highly accurate assessment of the situation by the executive manager. Expected no less from someone of your genius. Going for the classics Brownos today, Otis. So what was it, Brownos? To compliment a job well done. Did not expect. This inane conversation is most riveting, but I would prefer some silence while we wait. It seems that the company foresaw such difficulties and sent your support team to help you handle this issue. Weird voices coming from behind us from wherever Gilius pointed. My, you guys still haven't learned how to stick to the plan, have you? It really threw me off when I told you to meet in some backstreet location away from the agreed rendezvous point. A familiar voice. A voice we cannot forget. Been a while, everyone. I'm here too. We turned around to follow where the voice was coming from and recognized the 2 people we've been hoping to see again. We will see them more next time. You probably noticed from me yawning a little bit. I'm recording this very late. But whatever. Next time, we'll be getting probably a decent bit of the way through Nocturnal Sweeping. I don't... I have to double check how many combat nodes there are. It'll either just be next episode or the one after. Not much happening this one, but again, late recording. We're close to time anyways. So, apologies for that. Still getting back in the swing of things, so, yeah. But, that's neither here nor there. Till then, see you guys later.